Last Sunday.
Let me check with just renewing my dues. Let me finish that and then we can talk again before the meeting starts.
Rebecca, I'm going to sit down and movie.
What was it dated? Is that enough?
Well, maybe.
I knew I should have brought my computer. I knew I should have brought my computer.
Sorry.
Oh, I got it.
Stand here.
I'm doing all right.
I'll write it down.
Right quick, didn't it? What's that, right? We need to go outside there and then have some liquor tank. Davis.
One thing you can rely on. They'll all come and see you and never, never leave you, saying you all come and see us by. You all come, you all come. Well, you all come and see us now and then. You all come, you all come. Well, you all come and see us when you can. Folks are coming, yes, they're coming by the dozen. They're eating everything from soup to head. And right after dinner, they ain't looking any thinner, and you can still hear Grandma say, you all come, you all come. Well, you all come and see us now and then. You all come, you all come. Will you all come and see us when you can? And help do the dishes right away. But they all started, even though she's a grieving, you can still hear Grandma say, you'll come, you'll come. Well, you all come and see us now and then. You'll come, you'll come. Well, you all come and see us when you can. Yes, you all come and see us when you can. When you live in the country, everybody's your neighbor. On this one thing you can rely on. They'll all come and see you and never, never leave you, saying you all come and see us like that. You all come, you all come. Will you all come and see us now and then? You all come, you all come. Will you all come and see us when you can? Yes, they're coming by the dozens. They're eating everything from soup to hay. And right after dinner, they ain't looking any thinner.
I know the movie being her. Was she Jewish? I think it would have been tribe.
Who was being her?
That's a good question. We should know that. Yes. He wrote the Chariot. I remember that.
Well, it was before 1910 then.
Can I have everyone's attention, please? It's 2 o'clock. We're going to get this party started. My name is Lynetta James. I am the outgoing president of the Houston County Historical Society. Our incoming president is Miss Betty Summers, and she was unable to be here today, and she asked if I would conduct the meeting. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'm going to ask Sid McMillan if he would lead us in the pledge. I've moved the slide over here. Right there. Would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, our minutes have been mailed, and if you did not receive your minutes, please contact Nina. Were there any additions or corrections or questions about the minutes?
For 2 months ago.
For 2 months ago. Actually, it was the minutes for
I did spend $50 and mail them out this month.
Okay. We've had to cancel January due to snow and February. Anytime the schools are closed due to weather, we will not meet. There's just too many people who live in the far reaches that makes it hard to come in. Financial reports from...
Our balance at the end of October was $3,632.94. Our income is $929.22. That being $123 for dues, $305 for the sale of books, $1.22 for interest, and the $500 donation from Houston County. Our expenses were $516.89. That was $150 for the Christmas gifts, $220 for postage, $40 for the annual report, $50 for virus protection for our laptop computer, $56.89 for labels and office supplies. That leaves a balance as of 2/28/11 for $4,045.27. Our memorial account is that's the brick account, $2,587.34. Our certificate of deposit as of January 1 was $10,238.45.
Thank you.
Betty, may I have?
I would like to remind everyone that even though this is March, our dues, the annual dues are due since we did not meet in January or February. It's $5 individual, $6 for a couple, and I'd like to tell everyone our dues have not gone up since 1984. So this year's a bargain because the board is considering raising the dues for next year. In November, we did have the elections of our new officers and board members for this year. But before we get into that, in Ms. Betty's absence, she has given me something to read. First of all, we've lost 3 members since we met last in November. The first one was John Petty, who was a World War II vet, and Jerry and I had the privilege of doing an oral history with Mr. Petty, and he was a delightful man. And then James L. Stanfield, most of us knew about Bob, passed away in December. And Betty wanted me to read this about James L., about Bob. We have to say goodbye to James L. Bob Stanfield. We will miss him and remember him with love. And I want to add, we'll remember him with laughter too, because everything that came out of his mouth, you wondered, is that right? Making that up. Sorry. Our third member that we've lost is Suzanne McCampbell. And Betty wrote, now we have to add another name to the list, Suzanne McCampbell. She was a faithful, hardworking member. I think we will always remember her with love and will miss her. Our sympathies go out to Vanetta and Ellen. Suzanne was also a board member and my sounding board when the rest of the board wasn't around. And she will be missed. But we do need to replace Suzanne on the board. And at our 1 o'clock meeting today, the board would like to put forth a nomination of Melissa Barker to be our 7th board member. Can I have that as a motion, or if there's any other?
I so move.
Second. Betty is so moved, and Ann Hagelock is seconded. All in favor? Melissa, you are now on the board. And since we now have a full board and slate of officers, I'm going to ask George if he will induct our new officers and board members.
Of course, Miss thank you. Of course, Miss Betty is not here today, but Mr. Stewart, I just come forward. Miss Nina Finley, Miss Betty McKenna.
Do you have the board member names?
Yes, you do.
Board member.
Okay. I'm the one that's going to agree with you. You're going to stay. And after I get through, would you please stay? Okay. You have been elected by the Houston County Historical Society to serve as an officer of this organization. To the best of your ability, you will promise to fulfill the duties of the office to which you have been elected, as those duties are presented in the bylaws of this organization. I think y'all have chosen some real good officers here for the Historical Society. Let's give them a hand. Okay, now our 2011 Board of Directors, y'all come forward. Mr. Gary Booker, Joyce Triplett, Mr. Bob McKenna. Would y'all come up here? That way you can all just see. Mr. Sidney Miller, Rebecca Stevens, Melissa Barker. After I get through, would you also say you have been elected by the Houston County Historical Society to serve on the Board of Directors for 2011. Will you promise to fulfill your responsibilities as a board member, attend meetings whenever possible, contribute your ideas and talents to fulfill the purpose of the Houston County Historical Society as laid out in the Constitution of this organization?
Will you all come around so we can see who everybody is on the camera just for a second? Thank you.
Thank y'all. Let's give these.
Okay, the only other thing I have on my agenda before we get into our program today is Irish Week starts on Friday. I did want to show you all the t-shirt for this year. They're on sale at the office here at City Hall. They're $10 with the new slogan for this year, "Come Hear the Celebration." And the festivities start on Friday here at City Hall with the kickoff breakfast at 9 o'clock, and that's when the Lord High Mayor will be announced. And then the banquet will be, and the silent auction are on Friday the 18th at 6:30 at the Houston County High School Forum. And the tickets are on sale here at City Hall also for that. Other events going on during the week is the Birdsong Ensemble harp concert will be on the 15th at Erin Methodist Church. That same night will be the March, which is the high school band's concert at the high school on March the 15th. And then there's a gospel sing up at the Bible Baptist Church on the 17th. All of this culminating to Saturday the 19th, which is the big day. That's the day we start out with the hall of downtown will be filled with booths and activities. The Leprechaun Parade starts at 10:30. The Grand Parade starts at 11. The Demolition Derby starts at 2 o'clock. So all day on the 19th, Erin's a place to be. Yes, Rebecca?
On the website, it still shows that there will be the rubber ducky race on White Oak Creek, but we've not seen any places to buy the rubber ducky.
You're right. That has been postponed to a later date.
I see.
Yes. Does anyone else have any more announcements or anything to add? Well, I'm going to turn our meeting then over to George Clark, County Mayor, who is going to give us the state of the county. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
My wife does it.
I'm not going to turn it over to George yet. I forgot I had asked Melissa to be here, not just because we were going to elect her a board member, but because since we met last, we now have an official Houston County Archives. And we also have an official Houston County Archivist in Melissa Parker. And Melissa has been having a ball over there digging through dusty books and records. And I wanted her to come today to tell us a little bit about what she's been doing. And she wanted to bring some things which are over here on the table. So Melissa, if you'll take just a few minutes, because we do.
Believe me, I won't take long, so I don't like to speak in
And speak
public.
loudly. We don't have a sound system today.
I don't like to speak in public, so this won't take long. Yes, we have a new county archives, and I am the Houston County Archivist. I have to say, first and foremost, that we owe it all to Mr. Clark. He has supported us 110% from day one. Him and the commissioners, they've just been wonderful support for us. So, they have seen a need to save our county's history, the records. So I think that's just a wonderful thing. We are not ready yet for researchers. We have a lot of work to do to get the records ready. We can now get in the vault. The vault has been cleaned up and organized, so you can actually walk in it and walk around in it. The historical room, an archives room that we're sharing, is looking much better. We're using that to work on the records, archiving them, cleaning them, and getting them ready for when researchers come to see them. But we are always welcoming any visitors to come see it anytime. I'm usually there on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. So please come. I'm there. I'm glad to show you around, share what we're doing, and we're also ready for volunteers to come help. So if you want to volunteer to come help us clean records, organize them, or whatever, I would love to have you. Some of the projects we're working on, the big project that we'll be working on for many years to come is the Circuit Court Loose Records Project. These, we have 100 years worth of these records. These are the Circuit Court, which is the criminal and the civil cases, the General Sessions Court, and the Chancery Court. These are loose records. These are the information and records that are not in the bound books and that have not been microfilmed. They haven't even seen the light of day until we got into them. They're about 30, 50 boxes of these things. And I've got examples over there of them, and you'll see how they come. They come in envelopes, and these are all the court working papers that have been folded up and put in there. Our job is to take them all out, clean them, unfold them, and archive them in archival folders, and then put the information. The next project we're working on is loose marriage records. We have the marriage books and things up in Robert's office, but there's also a set of loose marriage records. And we have those dating back to 1940, and they're up to 2010. So we're working on those. We're also working on cataloging of the record books. The big book over there on the corner, we have about 100 and 200 of these big record books. Some of them have been microfilm, like the deed records and the circuit court minute books. Most of them have not been microfilm, and no one has seen them. There's even dog registration books where people had to register their dogs and pay taxes, and all the dogs have wonderful little cute names. So another project that I felt like we needed to do that I think is exciting is I'm starting a collection of local stationery logos for like businesses all the way back to the beginning of Houston County. I have a notebook over there of those. We have them dating back to 1800. I've been able to find businesses, and they're very, very interesting and neat to see. So afterwards, take a look at those. On Friday, I had a very interesting discovery. The big record books, as we are cataloging those, I am flipping through the pages because I have learned since I've been working on this that the clerks of the courts, all the different courts rooms, like to stick things in these books. Things that didn't matter, that didn't have anything to do with what the book is, as page holders, or they just stuck it in there. So I go through and see if there's anything in there. And in the Chancery Court enrollment docket dated 1871 to 1876, there was a piece of paper that looked just like that, stuck in there. So I thought, okay, what is that? Opened it up, and it is handwritten pencil. The date on it is April the 2nd, 1873. And it is signed by John Henson. I have not verified that it is the John Henson yet. I'm about 95% sure it's probably going to be. I am in contact with Mr. McKinney, the author of the book, Jack Henson. I've sent him a copy of this by email. He hasn't gotten back with me yet. He has an example of his handwriting, so he's going to compare it and let me know. So we're hoping that we have a little piece of Jack Henson in our archives. Those are just a few of the things that we have found and that we are doing. And like I said, if you want to come and see what we're doing, our archives is open to the public. It's your archives. It belongs to the county and its people. So please come, and I'll be glad to show you around.
Now we would love to hear from our distinguished county mayor, George.
I don't know if I can repeat that or not. Let me say before I really get started with what I was originally talking about, I want to thank Melissa for the work that she does, but there's several other people that helped her get started, and I know that's in this group that worked a lot of hours. Sam did, I know.
Bonetta and Jerry.
And Jerry, there were several down there that worked many hours in trying to straighten up the vault and get some of that stuff out. And guys, a lot of them never looked at that old vault. You really couldn't get in it. You couldn't. It was crammed full of documents and papers and things. And I do say, I want to thank the county commission for allowing us to do what we do. Because that was an extra expenditure and an extra kind of department that we started. But it's very important that we preserve the history of this county for years and years to come. And I'm really proud of doing it. I can walk in it now. And that room has been valuable over many years too. We usually still all. So, but thank you for what you do. If you, any of you belong to the Rotary Club? Thank goodness. You don't have to hear the same thing over because I just got through talking to a girl about a week and a half ago. And, you know, I would like to think that everything in Houston County changes real fast, but government is kind of slow, and we do a lot, and we want to finish something, but we also want to keep starting something. That way we've got something going all the time. But before I get started, I always like to talk about money, because I really believe, and let me pass this around. Some of you probably never seen the budget. This is Houston County's budget. I know I usually, the ones that have been around have probably seen it before. But that's the official document that all of our expenditures, everything in Houston County is in there. From solid waste to general fund, highway department, schools, debt service, you name it, it's in that particular document. And we passed, of course, we passed our budget. We have not had a tax rate here in this county for 7 years. That's pretty good in today's economy. It's tough. It happened because you have, I feel like, some good people managing the money. And I'm not talking about George Clark. I'm talking about the people in the courthouse, people in the school system, the highway department, people working at the convenience center. The way they manage that money determines whether we have to have a tax increase. And I think we get a pretty good bang for our buck here in Houston County. We do have a tax rate of $2.29. That tax rate is broken down into several different factions. The schools gets 53 cents of that $2.29. The general fund gets $1.55. Debt service gets 2 cents. Highway department gets a penny. They do get some other revenues, but they only get a penny as far as tax rate is concerned. Solid waste gets 18 cents. Now, what does that mean in dollars and cents? Well, it means a lot when you get down to the actual budgets and the amounts of monies that each one of these departments spend. The general fund has an expenditure of $4,890,000. Solid waste, $463,000. Debt service, $1,312,000. Highway department has a budget of $2,710,000. And schools, $12,717,000. Put all that together, that's over $22 million. That's a pretty good size operation. Now, out of that, that means, to me, we're probably one of the largest, or we are. Houston County is the largest employer in the county. And the way we spend that money and how that money circulates back into the county means an awful lot. Each of these areas that I mentioned has a payroll. In the general fund, we have about 100 employees. It'll go up and down. Sometimes it's above, sometimes it's below. But on an average, we have about 100 employees. We have a payroll each month of 200,000 plus. Highway department has about 22 employees, and they have a payroll of about 52,000 plus. Schools has 275 employees and a payroll of $610,000. So in the form of payroll, $862,000 turns over in the form of some type of payroll from the county each month. Now, the school, some years back, the county went in debt to improve our school systems. And we built a new high school and did some renovation. And we spent several dollars in regards to that. And today, we still own about $8 million on those facilities for the schools. We also built a new jail, and we renovated the courthouse. And we spent about $2.5 million there. Now, that money, in regards to what we borrowed, is the lowest I've ever seen in my life as far as interest is concerned. We pay 0.1% on that money. It's almost given to you. It's less than 0.5%. And that's good. It allows us to build that balance because, ladies and gentlemen, it won't stay there. There is a time when that interest rate will come up some. But it is very low right now, and that's good for us. Some of the services does Houston County do for you for the money that you get? Well, we provide a lot of services. In the schools, we have 4 schools. Other than 12,000 or $12 million building. Highway Department, well, the Highway Department has a $2 million something budget, but they have about 316 miles of roads. Closer to here, closer than I do, but I think it's about like 350 or 360. We provide a sheriff's department. We provide a jail. I want to tell you, jails are not easy to take care of. A lot of laws, a lot of regulations, and they got to be managed the right way. But we do have a new facility. We're fortunate. There are counties around us that are trying that, do just what we did a long time ago. We have a fire department. Actually, I think the county has a pretty good fire department. We have 3 stations the county does. We have one in the western portion of the county. So y'all's family helped us in purchasing a piece of property on Parker Road. And we built a fire station there. We have one in McKenna, fire station there. And then we also have one where we contract with the city of Ridge. We operate one in the city of Ridge. The city of Tennessee Ridge still has a fire department there. So when you look at that picture going across this county, and we're a long county, in that 5-mile radius going across the county, those 5-mile radiuses pretty much catch each other. We still need to expand east and west. Mr. Stevens, do the same. And you're here. There needs to be something down in that area. There's some places out on the White Oak, out towards McKinley, so that you don't have to go so far. And so those are the things that in the future we'd like to extend on that as money will allow us and as we get enough personnel to do it. Ambulance service. We have a Class A ambulance service. We have 4 ambulances that are certified. We do for Houston County with paramedics. The health department right across the street here. We built a new health department several years ago. We have a nurse practitioner and a nurse there. We're very fortunate to have a type health department. They provide a really needed service in today's economy. Central communications. We've had central communications for many years, probably 10, 15 years. I remember the process of separating dispatching from jailing. Jailers and dispatchers. We did it a long time ago. We still have counties around us that are trying to do that. And they need to be separated. 2 distinct different jobs. But we do that. We have central communication. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that with the project that we hopefully have coming up. Library. Most of y'all have been to our library. For a rural county of 8,000 plus, can't beat it. It's an efficient library. It's nice. It's kept up. Kay and her staff, they do an excellent job over there. Friends of the library, I'm sure some of you may be on that. Very helpful with the library. We're just fortunate. We have a good library. Agriculture Extension Office located in the basement. County does fund that. Youth Center. I can't say enough about the Youth Center. Miss Betty, very instrumental in helping us get started with the Youth Center years ago. Youth Center, though, provides a lot of good services. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to it. Airport. We have a nice airport in the western portion of our county. It's 3,000-foot strip. And I'll say a little bit more about that as we go along. Senior Citizens Facility. I don't know how many of y'all go up there. I go. I'm on the board. I enjoy going. Have a good time when I go. They always have some activities for people. It's a county operating facility. Court system. We have an elaborate court system. We have, right now, circuit courts going on. We have general sessions courts on Tuesdays and a lot of times on Fridays. Very essential. A lot of work, a lot of people, and pretty good expenditure. But that's what the county provides. Solid waste. We have one of the most efficient solid waste systems anywhere. And it works. It would be good to expand it a little bit, but what we have does work. And I'll talk a little bit more about that as we go along too. Parks. We have 3 parks. And I'll say a little bit more about that also. And soil conservation, they're also located. So when you look at the amount of monies that we're talking about, this is where some of your money, or a lot of your money is going, with these particular services. And I'm sure there's others that I missed. These are the large ones. Something that's coming up, and I'm going to pass this out. Career coach. This is this brochure that I'm passing out is it's going to be funded by the Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development, and it has to do with providing people or helping people in finding jobs. This particular, what they call a career coach, is actually a big RV. It's about, I want to say 35 feet long. It'll be ADA accessible. We're going to park it in front of the courthouse. Right now, it's going to come on a scheduled basis twice a month, where people, it will have internet or computers on board. There'll be from 3 to 5 people there, furnished by the state. They'll have fax machines, copy machines, and some of the services that it can provide. If you need help in doing a resume, these people are qualified to help you do it. You'll have the ability to job search. There's lots of jobs that individuals may not know about because they don't know that they exist. And this will allow them to look and see if there's things that they might want to apply for. There'll also be people to help people with interviewing skills, because that's very important in today's world. If you've got to go and interview, you need to know how to dress. You need to know how to talk. You need to know how to present yourself. And these people have that capability. Also, one of the services that they can provide is a specialized service, and you'll have to ask in advance, is for veterans. They can bring someone down to help the veterans, but we have to ask in advance because they won't be there all the time unless someone asks, and then the next time they come in, they'll be there. But this will be a real help to the people of Houston County in regards to finding employment. Solid waste. We have a convenience center. It's located up on Fire Tower Road. It has a budget of, I think, 400-some thousand, I think it's said. It cost us, and I'm talking about Houston County, it cost us $20 per ton to dispose of our solid waste. And tires cost us $72 a ton. We average anywhere from 40 to 45 loads per month going to a landfill. Now, this landfill, we contracted by county in Clarksville. We've done that for several years. And we spend about $96,000 a year just for what I call ticket fees. Now, with tires, we do apply for a small grant. We get a lot of tires from everybody around us. People go to maybe Clarksville or Dixon or somewhere and buy the tires, but then a lot of times those used tires end up back here, and we dispose of them. But the grant that we get is only about $3,000. It costs us about $12,000 to $13,000 a year to dispose of the tires. So the grant only really pays for the amount of tires that we got. We do some recycling. We recycle the white metals and we recycle carbon. Now, what's white metals? The white metals is any kind of metal that you want to bring up. Your stove, refrigerator, just any kind of metal. We pile it up and then we have a contract with somebody to come pick it up. Right now, metal is pretty high, so it brings pretty good thing. And all that money goes back into the general fund for operational costs. Cardboard, not a problem to dispose of. We used to do more than what I'm talking about. We used to try to do plastics. We used to try to do clothes. We don't have a market for it. We went through all the work to bail it up and do it, but we couldn't get anybody to come get it. We would give it to them just because it would save us money, but just give it away because it doesn't go in a waste stream. So we don't have to pay that $20 a ton. But there's just no one that's willing to take it. So we had to quit doing that. Youth Center. Can't say enough about the Youth Center. Youth Center has a budget of about a little over $83,000. We've been in operation now for about 6 years. Mr. David Cook is the director up there. Fine young man. Harvey Martin is the assistant director, and Pat Carpenter is the helper. Like I said, Ms. Betty was very instrumental in helping us get that started. The youth center has a board. That board meets every month. They discuss some of the things that are going on at the center and set policies for the youth center. We also have what we call a youth center cooperative. It's a 501c3. Why did I say that? Because you can contribute to that. It's tax exempt. And they would appreciate anything that you can do to help them in regards to their operation over there. And the 501c3 board also, they need to. Now, the hours of operation at the youth center are from 3 to 9 on Tuesdays, on Thursdays 3 to 9, Fridays from 3 to 11, Saturdays from 4 to 8. We serve grades 6 through 12. We are having now, right now, we're having 100 to 120, and even 130 children in front of me. The place is packed. It's packed. Now, what does that mean? Ladies and gentlemen, it means they're not on the streets of Erie. It means that they're not on the streets of Tennessee Ridge. It means they're not out here at the far end of the county, or this far, or this end of the county. They're in a youth center, hopefully supervised, and keeping them off the streets, providing a place for their youth to go. So it's important. It's important to this county, it's important to the two cities, and it's important to you. Because hopefully we provide a place for them. And I know the two gentlemen that are up there, they're fine men, good Christian men. And they try to set a good example for these young people. In the last 6 years, we've served over 28,000 students. We have an average of over 4,000. And like I said, you're welcome up there anytime. They would love to have you come up in the system. There's always somebody that they need someone to help sell the food or the snacks that they got, or just to be there as an adult to watch over the children. Because when you get that numbers that we're talking about, you need as much supervision as you possibly can. Emergency services. We have several emergency type services here in the county. First of all is our ambulance service, like I was talking to you about. We're a Class A service. We have 4 vehicles that are in operation. We have one right now. We have 4 in operation, but we have one in the shop. But it'll be back. We have on order a new one. And these vehicles are not cheap. We bid out, and it cost us about $93,000 for this unit that we got coming in. It should be here by May. Everything works the way it's supposed to. Ambulance service has a budget of $681,000. And they make about 120 to 130 runs per month. So they're pretty busy operation. As I said, our health department over here, we have a nurse and a nurse practitioner there. And this is not county run, but we're very fortunate to have it. We have what I call it semi-assisted living. And that's open. If you've never been there, it's really a nice place. I've thought about it when I get to that age and I can't get up and down those steps at the house. That's a perfect place for me to go because it is kept up nice. And we're, for our county with 8,000, it's nice. It's great for us to have it there. And they do a good job there. We have a hospital, Patient's Choice. There are counties around us that would love to have what we've got there. County of 8,000, and we have a hospital that provides services for the people of Houston County. We're very fortunate. We're thankful for Patient Choice for what they're the job to take care of. Nursing home facility, we have a huge nursing home facility. Signature Healthcare, Signature Care does an excellent job. I'm up there. My wife's mother's there, and I go up there quite frequently. And I cannot say enough about the staff working at facility. They keep it clean, they're very courteous, and they have a tough job. But we're fortunate in this county to have a facility like that. When you get a chance, pat them on the back, say thank you for the job that they do. Like I said, we have a fire department, 3 of them. Dave Harden is our director. Dave does an excellent job. Stays busy all the time. He's always doing something. He can't sit still. He's one of those guys that got nervous energy, but does a good job. And we have like the other is the 911 facility. Ambulance building, and I think I've got that up here. What's this one? I think it's in one buildings. Yeah, this is it. We applied for a grant of $750,000. And this, there was 18 counties, or $18 million, in 18 counties that were affected in the 2008 tornado. And those were the only counties that could apply for this money. 18 million, 18 counties. The average percentage got $1 million apiece. Well, you know, a lot of times it don't work that way. But we applied for, the county did, a new ambulance facility. And we got approved for $750,000. The city of Erie applied for $500,000, and I think to do some upgrade for their sewer. So, is that right, Ms. Penny? $500,000 for sewer? Sewer or water, one of the two. I think it's sewer. But that means Houston County got $1,250,000. Well, we got our share. That's been approved for the city and for the county. This is we're right now working with the state. As soon as we get a contract back, we sign it. We go through the procurement and purchasing the property and all that. We'll be working on that facility, a new ambulance facility. And it's much needed if you've been to the facility that we have right now. Now, along with that, after this was come along, then the state come back with another program of $70 million. And we are applying for some additional money for that. Now, there's two other buildings that we're wanting to do. One of them is a new highway department. I'll have to tell Gary about that. It's much needed. We need a new highway. We used to talk about it a lot, but we're applying for a grant for a new highway department, and we're applying for a new central communication first responders. The ambulance facility would be about 6,900 square feet, and it would cost, let me see, well, no, I take it back. It would have 5,760 square feet, and it would cost $907,000. Now, the highway department building will have 3,800 feet, and it would cost $870,000. So we have in the form right now of an application. It's not been approved yet, but it's an application. Out of this $70 million, we're wanting to get $1,827,000. And I think we've got a good chance of getting it. That's what we applied for. We should know in the next couple of years whether it's approved. That don't mean we'll have a bill. That means we'll get some type of answer back from the state as to whether we approve. Now, I know the city has applied for some stuff too. I'm not going to go into that. That's something the city is doing. They've applied for several $1,000s worth out of the same $70 million. And so, but hopefully we'll get our portion of that, and both of these facilities are really needed. At our 911 facility, we're way up there. And we're looking at redoing the equipment up there, all of it going digital instead of analytical or whatever it is. I'm not one of those type of people, but changing over to a different type of system altogether. And this will allow us to have the ability to do that. Some of the other projects that we've done in the last couple of years, airport. I mentioned the airport earlier is something that we support. We finished last year a paving project at our airport. We totally resurfaced the airstrip. Like I said, it's a 3,000-foot strip. It was a grant from the state. It was a 90-10 grant. It was a $700,000 project. We didn't quite have to spend the $700,000 because we bid it out and turned it in cheap. But that's what we were allowed to spend if we moved to. We've also applied to purchase some additional land at the end of the airstrip, on the eastern end, and we applied for a fuel station. So we could fuel the planes that come in. The land has been approved. And it's on a 90-10 basis also. And it was about $70,000. It did about $70,000. They did not approve the fuel, but we've not given up on that. We'll end up reapplying, and then we have a backup plan if we don't get approved the next time. looking at another area where we can bring fuel. Why do we want fuel at the county? We want fuel there because we want more planes to come. Right now, they'll have fly-ins, and they'll have 50 or 60 planes on Saturday. And they love to go to Southern Air and eat great cooking that's at Southern Air Restaurant. And we want them to come. We want these guys, instead of being $100 hamburger now, they're probably a $200 hamburger. And we want to get their tax money. And we want them to have a good time when they come. And we want to be able to allow them to fuel up. Or if there's a place for them to fuel, they'll get more planes in. Because right now they have to go either across the river or Humphreys County or Dixon or somewhere else to get that fuel. So we're going to work towards trying to get that taken care of. The water project, we've got a water project that's going on with the City of Tennessee Ridge. This particular project will be on White Oak Road, Hurricane Road, and Bagatelle Road. It's a $181,000 project. We had 12 bidders on this small project, and we had a local contractor to do it. Whitaker Construction ended up with the contractor. He was low bid. And we'll be signing the contracts, the state, all the stuff. Once you go through the bidding process, everything has to go back to the state and look it over and say, yeah, these figures are right. Now it's time for you to go on board the contract. So we're waiting for them to give us the okay to go on board that contract, so we can get started on this particular water project. Another project that we've done in the last couple of years, which is really probably one of the better projects that we've done, because it really gets down to it. It has to do with housing. In the last few years, Houston County, just Houston County, we've got over $800,000 to help people either build a new home, replace the home they're living in, or replace the modular home. We have built 4 new homes, or replaced the home they had before, and about 11 modular homes. That's the county. The city has done several rehabs, and it also built homes. And then Highland Rim has done the same thing. So we're touching lives of people that could not afford substandard living, and we're putting them in a nice home that they can be proud of. And you cannot imagine a smile on their face when you get to move into those homes. It's a very good project. It's a real good project, and right now we've got another application in because we've just finished the one that we've done, and hopefully it will be approved. We're asking for an additional $500,000. Another project that's going on is Tennessee River Trails, right here. I'm sure you've heard of it before. The Tennessee River Trails Association, we've been in business for a couple of years working on this particular thing. There's 9 counties involved in it, and it borders the Tennessee River. It's all about tourism, ladies and gentlemen. Bringing people in, circling the Tennessee River, and bringing them through these counties. The red line is the main route, and the dark blue is the alternate routes that they can take. We also have another trail, and I don't have a copy of that route, the Screaming Trail. Then it comes in by 232. And it comes back in, goes through Houston County, goes back into Dixon, around into Clarksville, and makes the circle. Now, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but I have a place down here, and I won't advertise, but I have a business down here that I love to sit on the swing on a Saturday morning. And when it's pretty, I see 25, 30 motorcycles coming through. And they're coming from these trails. Mainly the Screaming Eagle Trail right now. And what do they do? A lot of times when I go to Edith Fitzgerald's, there's 25, 30 motorcycles there, and they're in there. And they're doing just what we want them to do. We want them to enjoy, eat, spend the money, and leave here for us. But these are things that you're going to see continue to grow as far as tourism in Houston County. And we need to capitalize on that, because it is a big business. It can be a larger business than what it is today. The other parks, we have, like I said, we have 3 parks. One of them is Danville, and I think I got a picture of that here. We've got a committee, the Tourism and Recreation Committee, that's been working on this for 2 years. we're finally beginning to move forward. We're working with TVA. There'll be a public notice coming out in the next couple of weeks concerning this 56.8 acres to develop a park in the Danville area. We've already secured a grant from Tennessee Department of Environmental Conservation for $80,000 to put in an ADA bathroom and a 1 mile walking trail through this 56.8 acres. The county will come up with the rest of that money. Now, how will we come up with that money? Tennessee River Resort Act. We get extra sales tax money. That money's set aside, put in a special fund, and it can be spent on tourism. And so that's what we build it up so that we have the money to meet these grants once they come around. This looks like it's going to become a reality. I can tell you this will make a lot of money and revenue for Houston County in the next 10, 15, 20 years. It is a long-term project. It needs to be looked at that as a long-term project. Houston County needs the 56.8 acres, and we can continue to apply for grants and continue to do the different phases. Because there are several phases that I have another thing. I just don't have a place to put it up. You're welcome to look at it afterwards. But that's one of our parks. The other one is the National Guard Park up here. It's what we call the National Guard Park where the youth center's at. If you've not been up there, we have 2 ball fields. We have a playground area, tennis court, volleyball court. I mean, it's just a nice park. And it's well used. Softball's getting ready to take place. There'll be crowds up there to play softball as soon as the weather breaks. They're practicing now, and it's really used. Our newest park is Magnolia Park. And Mr. Herb Gould, most of you know Herb. Herb did a lot of work in regards to this. But the county decided that we needed to have control of that area. TVA owns that property, and in the years past, we could not enforce any law there because it was under TVA's jurisdiction. So what we did, we worked out, and we now have leased from TVA a section of that area there where the bridge is, and it's now under the jurisdiction of Houston County, and our sheriff's department can go down there and monitor it. And can do what needs to be done to keep it under control. Mr. Gould and their organization have also put an emergency phone there if something happens there. It has become a family-oriented place. One thing the flood did that was good, it made a huge gravel bed there. I mean, it's just huge. And if you go there, you just walk across the creek and you're over there on the gravel bed. And a lot of people use it during the summer. Something else that is being looked at right now, Herb's found a rod and he thinks a millstone that's there, and he's working with TVA to see if he can get that out so we can put it on display. That's right. But we can't do it ourselves. It has to go through TVA. And so, because we were going to go do it, and then we found out, no, it's still on TVA's property, and they have to have someone, a special person to come down and look at it to help get it out. But we're looking at trying to do that. But that's the 3 parks that the county has. Now, industrial-wise, we've done quite a bit as far as our industrial base is concerned over the last few years. Magnum Manufacturing up here is not located in our industrial park, but it's been a real asset to Houston County. Doug Schroeder is a very community-minded individual, if y'all know him. He participates in an awful lot. But we, and I say we, I'm talking about the county, we assisted him in what we call a fast-track grant of $400,000, and we redid all the grave work around both of those buildings, putting in underground runoff lines, water lines, sewer lines, things of that nature. And if you've ever been up at the old, what I call the Key Industry building, behind it was nothing but a swamp. You couldn't get behind it. Well, now it's not like that. I had one of his employees come by the office the other day and wanted to let me know, since we had all this rain, George, that's the best thing we ever done up there. We didn't have any problem whatsoever. It all run off just the way we were supposed to. But there was a $400,000 fast-track grant that we assisted them with. And they employed several people. They probably got 50, 60 people. Oh, no, I think they're probably 30 or 40 people. Commercial insulated glass. We assisted them that we call them CIG, that is commercial insulated glass. We assisted them in helping to purchase the building that they're in and also to do grade work around that building. And it was for $1,051,000 that we helped them. Tennessee Wire and Sinbom. Sinbom is an associate of Tennessee Wire. We helped them when they were building their new building. We also got a fast track grant of $263,000 to help do the grade work, bring in the utilities for them to build the theory now. Another project that we're working on at our industrial park, and it's a slow move project and it's something that we're getting closer and closer to all the time, is we're willing to build a spec building. We want to build a 50,000 square foot building. This building would cost $1,400,000. We already have secured a $400,000 what we call a fast track grant that will not have to be paid back. We're working with some of our local banks and TVA to secure some other portion of this money, and then the industrial park board has money that they're going to put into it. So it's getting closer to becoming a reality, and we need to spec building. We are centrally located. Montgomery County is one of the fastest growing counties around. And we're within 30, 40 minutes of some of their major industries. And if we have this building, we could possibly get a spin-off industry from one of those larger industries that are up there. And that's why we're looking at trying to bring in more jobs into Houston County. We are fortunate. We have a very low unemployment rate for a rural county of our size. Perry County, if you kept up with the news, and I hate to mention the county, had an unemployment rate of 24, 25%. And they're just like Houston County. They're about an 8,000 population. We have an unemployment rate, well, let me give you some figures. In December of 2009, Houston County's unemployment rate was 12.3%. November of 2010, or December of 2010, we're at 10.5. So we've come down. The state average, the last state average I've got was 9.4. A county of 8,000. We have counties around us, I promise you, that have higher unemployment. Now, that's not saying if that person is unemployed, he's unemployed, and he needs a job, or she needs a job. And we need to continue to do whatever we can do to bring more work into this county so that they don't have to drive to Montgomery County, Dixon County, Nashville, Nissan. I know people that drive a Nissan every day. And I don't have to tell you what gas prices are. We're not getting cheaper, we're getting higher. And that means a cut in pay for those people that are on the road. So we need to try and do everything we can to bring additional industry here so that our people can stay closer to work. That's just some of the things that we do here in the county. And I hope I haven't bored you, but I don't get to speak to you once a year. And, but I'll be glad to try and take any questions that you have. I don't have all the answers, but if I don't have it, it doesn't bother me to tell you. I don't know, but I'll get back with you. So, is there any questions? Yes.
Is that a walking trail or a road along the water of the Danville project?
This right here?
Right.
This will be a boardwalk.
A boardwalk?
Yes. And then these little things coming along will be docks. It's one of the phases that we'll do. This is the walking trail. This is RV parking for campers. This is also camping. This is primitive camping. We're looking at putting in, like I said, a walking trail under phase 1 and a bathroom facility. And then down in here we've got some parking and some place for picnic tables. We'll have to enlarge parking. As this grows, parking is going to have to be enlarged. The walking trail and the ADA bathroom is not going to affect it very much. That's for phase 1. But as you get on down the phases and you start bringing in people, the parking is going to have to be addressed. And we have addressed it up here. This is additional parking. I mean, we've thought about this. We have a good committee that has worked on this for, like I say, for 2 years. And this right here can bring in a lot of revenue for Houston County in the future. And we want to make it a nice place. We want to make it a place that people will want to go. Because it likes people. Any other questions?
The park there, is that, you want to have somebody managing that?
Oh, yeah.
Security night?
Once we get the park in operation, we'll have to, especially once you start putting when you're going to have, there's a place here for a house for a manager, okay? Any other questions?
In the census figures back yet,
I didn't understand.
or in the 2010 census figures back.
Okay, we do not have our, and I'm glad you asked that, Tom. We do not have our figures back for the 2010 census yet. We will have to go through reapportionment. That means every district in this county legislative body will have to sit down and look at how to rearrange the districts. Hopefully they won't change. But I've been through 2 of these already. And I can tell you pretty much how it works. We'll say this district over here has 500 people in it. And they'll give you a margin of 5% up or down. No district can be more than 5%. They all got to be pretty close to the same, is what I'm saying. You can't have one huge district over here with all kinds of people, and then one right beside it doesn't have any. So what you have to do, you have to make the districts fair. And then what the federal government will do, they will send us maps that will show us the districts the way they are now and the population that is in that district. And then they'll say you're 5% below, 5% above. And if you're, one way or the other, if it's way below, you got to put some more people in there. If you got too many, you got to take people out, and they got to go to another district. But you can't jump over a district either. It's got to be together. It's really interesting. We don't usually have to change a lot. In years past, I think District 4 probably was affected a little bit. We had to take some people out of District 4 last time I remember and put in the City of Aaron's district to make it fair. But we'll be going through that. Once we get those maps will have to come from the federal government to us. I'm already getting information on it, but like I say, I've been through it, so I have a general idea how to work.
I can see your permanent maintenance home.
Yes.
Is there a plan for any other permanent dwellings?
No. TVA will not allow on their property to build cabins or homes. That they just will not allow. We talked about that. That was something we wanted to do. We wanted to put small cabins in, but they will not allow it on their property.
They're on the opposite side of the creek over there.
That's a different story. Different altogether. But that was asked, I can promise you, because we felt like up in here, or some of it, it would have been beautiful to have some cabins looking over the lake. But no. What we have to do in this park, it has to fit within the natural resources that are already there. They're not going to let us go out here and put a dirt track right up in here. And it's just not going to happen. They're not going to allow us. We may want to, but it's just not going to be, they won't allow us to. And the plans that we've got here, they had to be submitted to TVA. And TVA has to approve this.
Is it TVA that's clean house over on Cane Creek?
Well, I'm not going to get into that because it's a personal or private thing between one of our private citizens and I think it'd be inappropriate for me to talk about his particular thing. The gentleman that's being affected, I can say this, is a fine gentleman. Mr. Frank Williams is a fine person and has served this county for many, many years. And, but with that said, that's between Mr. Williams and
George, what's happened, that Magnolia is long overdue, but it sure is nice. I go by that quite often through the summer, and I'll see as many, probably 150 people there, and children, and it's safe.
It's a family place.
It's nice.
It's really a family place.
Our family has a place we go to creek now.
Well, you can. It is a family-oriented park now, and it will stay that way because we can enforce it. Our Sheriff's Department can enforce that, and has done a pretty good job of doing that.
Well, when the flood came through there, it dug out good over water.
Sure did.
You want to swim, but also right there.
The only drawback, Mr. Kitten, oh, man, White Oak is gold. It is gold now. But I remember it from growing up. I haven't been in it since I'm an adult, but I still remember White Oak as a cold creek. But a lot of families go there, and they have a great place to picnic in the shade if they want to, and they have a great gravel walk.
Well, what we like about it, there's a place where our little ones could sit in the rocks and the water run over, but yet there's a hole of water where the others can swim.
If it hadn't, and I hadn't been there since the last rain.
I'm hoping that
it was a huge gravel bar, and then just a small place where the water was draining out, going down the creek, and it was just perfect.
Being eroded a little bit.
Like I said, one good thing the flood did, it made us a great place down in White Oak.
Well, we were hoping that it didn't undo what it did last week.
Any other questions? Guys, once a year, unless you come by and see me, I have no people come by and see me about every day myself. It's good to be here. It's good to see you. I want to thank you, and I didn't do this on the front end. I want to thank you for what you've done in the courthouse. I can tell you, people look at those pictures constantly. If people come in the courthouse, they look at those pictures. And I enjoy, if I'm walking out of my office and somebody that I really don't know that well, I'll sit and talk to them and try to explain where that's at, or a little bit of history. But people love those pictures. And Melissa found those. You didn't tell them. I know you didn't have time.
No,
Okay.
that's okay.
But we're looking at trying to frame these and put them in the basement along the wall, because we don't have a whole lot of decoration there.
I know she put the plaque up, give them credit for it.
You did. Y'all didn't have the recognition. Another thing that's coming up is we're getting ready to have a surplus auction sale. It will be at our Sheriff's Department. It's on the 26th. And so, some of you that's been in the basement, we are trying right now to clear that stuff out so that you can get through to the elevator in that building hallway. But we're trying to do everything there. The Sheriff's Department has got some surplus stuff. Highway Department's got some surplus stuff, and of course the general fund. We got a bunch of old computers and desks, and things that we've had for years. It's just nothing but clutter. We don't use them anymore. They may be of value to someone else. Hopefully they are. We want people to have it.
When's the sale?
26th. And it'll be at the Sheriff's Department.
What about the flood possibilities in the basement of the courthouse, with it being underground and all those documents?
When we had all the flooding here, we did get some water in the basement, but we didn't get a whole lot. And that came in probably from one of the doors in the back. And but in the past, we've not had a whole lot of flooding.
I can address something that has been very surprising to me. The records vault in the basement, that's where all the records are going to be stored. I have found not one drop of instance of water damage on any of the records. There is no bug damage. We've seen no evidence of rodents in that vault. It's unbelievable. All those records, I've got a handful of records of books that have water damage on them, but they're old, so I think they came from the other courthouse. But that vault is an excellent place to store records.
The only place that gives us any problems is in the historical.
Yes, yeah.
And I have told the people with the historical and Melissa, don't put anything under the string.
No, we don't.
Because every once in a while, hey, we have a problem upstairs, and you will have some water will come through. But other than that, we don't really have a lot of water problems in the courthouse. Any other questions? The courthouse is a good solid building. I assume all of you have been to the courtroom. All of you have been to the courtroom? Unfortunately. I don't get to say a whole lot about it very often. We're the envy of a lot of counties around us. We have as nice of a courtroom as anybody in this circuit, or district, or whatever they call it. We're modern. We're up to date. We record all of our legislative body meetings. They're on DVD. We usually have Channel 12. Mr. Davis is there, and he puts it on there. Best thing ever happened. I love it. I don't have to put up with somebody putting their own twist on something. You get to hear it firsthand if you listen to Channel 12. And if you want to see the CD, it's there for you to look at if you want to look at it. So I love that. It gets away from all this, well, I did this. No, this is the way it took place. One of the best things we ever done. And we're real proud of the courtroom. We try to keep it as nice as we can. If you haven't been up there, take the time to look at it. Walk through it. Any other questions? If not, thank you again for having me.
Okay, I just had one quick announcement to let y'all know about next month's meeting will be April the 12th. We're going to have an evening meeting at 7 o'clock. Judy King is going to be our speaker. She is the Tennessee coordinator for the Names with Faces, the Vietnam Memorial Wall Project. And we're going to use that evening to honor the Vietnam veterans who live here in Houston County. It'll be an open meeting. We're not sending invitations. We're just sending a blanket invitation to all Houston County veterans who served in Vietnam. We would like them to come that night, and we will have a dessert and a speaker and honor them. So, and you all are dismissed. Thank you so much.
Oh, she's